worship. We're called to be worshipers to the Lord. We're created for that very purpose, to worship God. And one thing we need to understand in worshiping the Lord, that worship to God is not limited to Sunday mornings. Worship is something it's not limited only to, music and instruments and songs. That's an aspect of worship. So worship is much more than that. And you and I, we're called to be worshipers. Look at John chapter 4, verse 19. And we know that's this incident or this encounter that Jesus had with the woman at the well. And in John chapter 4, verse 19, I'm going to read through verse 24. The woman said to him, "Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain. And you people, or the Jews rather, say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship." Look at verse 21. Jesus said to her, "Woman, believe me, an hour is coming, and when neither in this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father." Verse 22. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But an hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father. How? In spirit and in truth. For such people, the Father seeks to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. The Samaritan woman tells him, "Sir, I perceive you're a prophet," right? She goes on to say, "Well, we worship here at this mountain." She was talking about the Mount of Gerizim, where Jacob's well was. She was saying, "This is our place of worship. But you people, the Jews, you say that the place of worship is in Jerusalem." And then Jesus tells her, "Believe me, there's a time coming where neither here nor there will you worship God." What he was telling her was worship no longer has to do with a place. It no longer has to do with this mountain here in Gerizim. It no longer has to do with the temple in Jerusalem. It's not about the place. It's not about the location. It's not about the where. It's about the how. How do we worship God? And a lot of people say, "Well, I worship in church at Sunday service." And Jesus Christ said, God the Father is seeking those who will worship him in spirit and in truth. And worshiping God with songs and instruments, it's a part of worship, right? And it's something that we get to do on Sunday mornings. But it's not about the where. It's about how we worship the Lord. You can worship God in your car or in your truck. You can worship God without music. Let me tell you why. Because your life is a worship to God. How you live your life is worship to God. It's not about the where, it's about the how.